हेलो एवरीवन, मैं वंदना आप सबका यूपीएससी टाइम में स्वागत करती हूँ। आज की क्लास में हम एनसीईआरटी क्लास 10 का चैप्टर 8 नोवल सोसाइटी एंड हिस्ट्री पढ़ने वाले हैं। इन द फर्स्ट स्लाइड वी विल डील ऑन द राइज ऑफ द नोवेल. At first, novel took film root in England and France from 17th century, but they flowed in the 18th century. First, only gentlemanly classes used to read novel, but now lower middle class formed good readership with the novels. As the readership grew, the market for the books expanded. The earning of the author also increased. At first, authors were dependent on a patronage of the aristocrats for the finance, but as the readership grew, they were from the dependence and helped them to the experiment with other literacy style. Henry Fielding, a novelist of early 18th century, claimed he was the founder of new provinces of writing where it could make his own laws. Walter Scott remembered and collected popular Scottish ballads, which he used in his historical novel about the wars between the Scottish clan. The epistolary novel, on the other hand, used the private and personal form of letter to tell its story. Samuel Richardson Pamela, written in the 18th century, told much of its story about the exchange of letters between the two lovers. These letters tell the reader to hidden conflict the heroine's mind. Gentlemanly classes, people who claimed noble births and a high social position, they were supposed to set the standard for the proper behavior. Epistolary, written in the form of series of the letter. The publisher market initially novel didn't cheap. Henry Fielding's Tom Jones was issued in a six-volume price at a 3 shilling each, which was more than what a labor earned in a week. But soon people had easier access to book with the introduction of circulating libraries in 1740. Technological improvement in the printing brought down the prices of the books, and innovation in the marketing led to expanding the sale. In the rural areas, people would collect to hear one of them reading a novel aloud, often becoming deeply involved in the lives of character. In 1836, a notable event took place. Even Charles Dickens' Pickwick paper was serialized in a magazine. Magazines were attractive since they were illustrated and cheap. Serialization allowed readers to realize the suspense, discuss the character of novel, live for weeks with their stories like viewer and television soap today. The world of the novels, the other form of writing which can be for novels, were about ordinary people. They don't focus on the lives of great people or action that change the destinies of state and empire. Deeply critical of these development, novelists such as Charles Dickens wrote about the terrible effect of industrialization on people's lives and character. His novel Hard Time described Coketown of frictionless industrial town as a green place full of machinery, smoking chimney, river, polluted purple, and building that all looked the same. Here workers are known as a hand, as if they had no identify other than as a proprietor of machine. Dixon criticized not just the greed for profit but also the indeed that reduce a human being into the simple instrument of production. His Oliver Twist is a tale of the poor orphan who lived in a world of pity, criminal and beggar. Brought up in a cruel work, Oliver was finally adopted by the wealthy and lived happily ever after. But not all the novels about the lives of the poor gave people the comfort of a happy reading. Emily Zola, criminal on the life of young miner in the France, explored in the harsh detail the grim condition of the miners lives it, and on the note of despair, the strike, the heroes led fail, his co-worker turned against him, and the hopes are shattered. Community and society. The vast majority of readers of the novel lived in a society. The novel created in a dealing of the connection with the fate of rural community. The 19th century British novelist Thomas Hardy for the instance wrote about traditional rural community of the England that were fast vanishing. This was actually a time when a large farmer fenced off land, bought machine and employed laborers to produce for the market. We get a sense of this change in Hardy, mayor of the Castle Breeze. It is about Michael Hennard, a successful grain merchant who become the mayor of the farming town of the Castle Breeze. He is an independent man who follow his own style in the conducting business. He can also be both both unpredictably generous and cruel with the employee. Consequently, he is no match for his manager and rival Donald Farford, who runs his business on the efficient managerial managerial lines and is well regarded for he is smooth and even tempered with everyone. The novel uses the vernacular, the language that is spoken by the common people by the coming closer to the different spoken language of the people. The novel produces the sense of shared world between the diverse people in the nation. The new woman. The most exciting element of the novel was the involvement of women. The 18th century saw the middle class become more prosperous. Women got more leisure to read as well as write novel, and novel began exploring the world of women, their emotion and identity, their experience and problem. Many novels were about domestic life, a theme about which women were allowed to speak with authority. They drew upon their experience, wrote about family life and public recognition. The novel of the Jane Austen give us the glimpse of the world of the woman in a genteel rural society in the early 19th century Britain. The first sentence of the Jane Austen, a Pride and Prejudice state, it is a truth university and acknowledge that a single man in a possession of good fortune must be in a want of the wife. This observation allows us to see the behavior of the main character who are the preoccupied with the marriage and the money as a typifying Western society. After their novel deals with a woman who broke established norm of society before adjusting to them. Such stories allow women needed to sympathize, rebel in action. Josie Light was the pen name of the Mary Ann Evans, a very popular novelist. She believed that novel gave women a special opportunity to express themselves freely. Everyone could see herself as capable of writing fiction. Fiction is a department of literature in which women can, after their kind, fully equal men. No educational restriction can shut women from the material of the fiction, and there is no spices of the art that is so free from the rigid requirement. George Eliot silly novel by the lady novelist 1856. Novel for the young boys idealize a new type of man, someone who was powerful, assertive, independent and daring. Most of these novels were full of the adventures set in a place remote from the Europe. The colonies appear heroic and honorable, confronting native people and the strange surrounding, adapting to the native life as well as changing it colonization territory and the then a developing nation there. Book like R.L. Stevenson trace the Iceland of the Rudyard Kipling Jungle become the great deeds. G.A. Henry historical advantage novel for boys were also widely popular during the height of the British Empire. They aroused the excitement and adventure of the conquering the strange land were set in the Mexico, Alexandria, Siberia, and the many other countries. They were always about the young boys who witness a grand historical event, get involved in some military action, and show what they call the English courage. Love stories written for the adolescent girl also first became popular in this period, especially in the US, notably Romana by the Helen Hunt Jackson and the series entitled What Katie Did by the Sarah Choney Woolsey, who wrote under the pen name Suzanne Coolidge. But at the time of the But the time cruisy behavior was not seen as unacceptable or odd for most writers of the time. Saw colonization as a natural. Colonized people were seen as a primitive and barbaric, less than human. Colonial rule was considered necessary to the civilize them, to make them fully human. It was only later in the 18th century that writers like Joseph Conrad wrote novels that showed the darker side of the colonial occupation. The novel in India, stories in a pose were not new to India. Ban Bhatta's Kadambari, written in Sanskrit in the 7th century, is an early example. The Panchtantra is another. There was also a long tradition of prose tale of adventure and heroism in a Persian and Urdu known as Dastan, the modern novel from the developed in India is the 19th century as Indian become familiar with the Western novel. The earliest novel in Marathi was a Baba Padamanji Yamuna Paryatan, which used a simple style of storytelling to speak about the plight of the widows. This was a followed by Lakshman Mareshwar Halve's Mukta Mala. This was not a realistic novel. It presented an imaginary romance narrative with a moral purpose. Leading novelist of the 19th century wrote for a cause. Colonial ruler regarded the contemporary culture of India as inferior. Indian novelists wrote and developed a modern literature of the country that could produce a sense of national belonging and culturality with a colonial master. Translations of novel into the different language helped into the spread the popularity of the novel and stimulated the growth of the novel in a new areas. With this slide, I stop this lecture at here. In the next video, we will discuss the other slides of this chapter. Hope you will like this video. If you are new in this channel, then please hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon and like the video. If you have a query related to subject or a chapter, then you can ask in the comment box. Thanks for watching the video and stay tuned with the channel.